Sometimes I think maybe 10 o'clock on a Thursday night, I could be doing other things. But instead, I'm here, P2P Live UK, where we're going to be talking about all things jobs and employment throughout the UK, and with a few little tidbits or opportunities across the ditch in New Zealand and Australia. And actually, this is where I'm broadcasting from today. I'm actually in Wellington in New Zealand with our partner agency here in New Zealand, Frog Recruitment. But more about that in a second. Today, we've got our stat of the week, and I thought we'd look at the gender pay gap with International Women's Day having just passed in the last couple of weeks. We've got 2 jobs here in the UK that we want to talk about, opportunities in Australia and New Zealand. And of course, we got the results of last week's Twitter poll. So let's get straight into it. Actually, before I move on, we can see your comments live in Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you have any comments at all or any questions throughout the broadcast, pop them in there and we'll answer them straight away. But let's get into this week's stat of the week. So last couple of weeks we had International Women's Day, so I thought it was good that we actually explore the gender pay gap in the UK. And so what you're looking at in front of you here, and thanks to the Office for National Statistics, they produced these numbers from the annual survey of hours and earnings, and these are the results. So there is one thing or one caveat that the ONS have actually said about these numbers, and that's the fact that over the coronavirus period, there was some composition or workforce impacts that actually came through into these numbers. So there was some disruption in terms of the collection of the data and the like as well. So they do put a caveat that 2020, 2021, the numbers, they're not as robust as in other years. But what we can see here is that among full-time employees, the gender pay gap in April 2022 was 8.3%, and this was 7.7% in April 21, 9.9% in April 19. So the long-term trend that we're looking at is that there has been a substantial drop in the gender pay gap in the UK in the last 20 years, and it's nearly halved, basically. There does remain, though, a large difference in the gender pay gap between employees aged over 40 years and those aged below 40 years as well. And the managers, directors and senior officials occupation group has experienced the largest fall in gender pay gap since the pre-coronavirus period in 2019. So there has been a notable change in that particular sector. So the gender pay gap also is higher in every English region than in Scotland and in Northern Ireland as well. So it really is quite an interesting statistic. Now, I'm in New Zealand and today, and in New Zealand, the gender pay gap is approaching 15%, and in Australia, it's closer to 17%. So the UK should be quite proud of although there's still work to do in terms of the gender pay gap in Great Britain. Okay, let's move on. Okay, here are the hot jobs of the week in the UK. The first one is a social worker based in London, and it's paying, basically, if you have the experience, we will give you the rate that you're after. So you're managing defined caseloads and working across various industries such as healthcare, hospital, child welfare, and elderly care. So you need to be degree qualified in social work, CQSW, CSS or equivalent, and you have to have had a proven track record in managing complex care situations. So Liz Jones is the person that you need to speak to in our London office, liz@people2people.co.uk. It's a temporary position to start with. There is the opportunity for permanent going forward as well. Here's the next job, which is a permanent job, and it's paying £26,000 to £28,000 per annum. It's a production administrator, also in London. You'll be answering incoming calls, admin duties, spreadsheets, sorting, distributing memos, and updating an internal database. So working within administration before, excellent organisation skills. If you've got those, give Hannah a call, hannah.scanlon@people2people.co.uk. Or for each of these opportunities, you can apply now simply by hitting the link that's in the comments on the screen, so here below. So for each of the opportunities, the production administrator and the social worker, click on the link or just pick up the phone to our London team and they can tell you more about it. Okay, it's bright and sunny here in Wellington, but we've got a job for you in Auckland. So in Penrose in Auckland, if you're looking for a working holiday in Australia or New Zealand, or indeed you're coming home or you're from the UK and you're looking to return to the UK, you should get in touch with one of our offices. Okay, Penrose in Auckland, a recruitment coordinator. So you're screening candidates, you're managing the hiring process from start to finish, working closely with branch managers, $28 to $30 an hour. And you need to have some experience in running the end-to-end recruitment process. Kirsty Hennigan is the person that you need to speak to in the Auckland office of Frog Recruitment, our partner agency. You can give her a call, +64 for New Zealand, 9869 6255, or kirsty@frogrecruitment.co.nz to learn more, or simply click on the link in the comments and we will check out your application. Here's the next opportunity we've got. It's a video for a logistics team member in our office in Western Sydney.
I am currently recruiting for a global medical devices company. They are in the lookout for someone to join their logistic team in their warehouse full-time hours on a temporary basis. Your day-to-day responsibility for this role will include efficiently picking and packing medical device, keeping accurate record on the ERP system, and a part of this role also involved being on the phone liaising with hospital staff and sales representative about deliveries of those devices. To be considered for this role, you don't have to have any specific experience, although the client would love someone with some pick and pack experience if possible, but you will need to have a general interest degree in health or biomedical engineering, to have exceptional communication skills and high level of motivation. You also need to pay strong attention to details. The devices are expensive and require focus. This is a Monday to Friday office hour job. If it sounds like you, please apply today, or you can give me a call on 0861606205.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about productivity out there at the moment, particularly because 90% of Australians work in the service sector. So we thought we'd get some tips on how to improve your productivity by having a chat to Demi from our Sydney temp and contracting team. G'day, Demi. How are you today? So you've got some great tips for us on how to improve productivity. What have you got?
Yes, so I have come up with 3 ways that we can improve productivity, 3 helpful tips. Firstly, my first tip would be breaking the tasks into smaller and more manageable pieces. So often we are procrastinating because we feel overwhelmed with the task that is put in front of us. So if we break the task down into the smaller pieces, it does make it feel more manageable and less daunting at the same time. It can also make it easier to firstly get started, and you know what you need to focus on one small piece at a time. So that was my first one. My second tip is setting specific goals and deadlines for yourself. So basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. So setting clear goals and deadlines, this can help you stay focused and motivated at the same time. Instead of saying you want to finish a project soon, set a time frame or a deadline and be like, I want to have this project finished by the end of next week. This can also help you in the long run by prioritizing your work and avoiding putting things off. So getting those things that we are avoiding done as well. And lastly, Mark, I will finish on eliminating distractions. So I think
sounds like me. Are you trying to eliminate me? Because I know I'm a distraction in the office.
Oh, you would be lucky. So I think this is good for all of us. So as everyone knows, distractions can be the major source of procrastination. So if we try to eliminate or reduce distractions just as much as we possibly can, it can be little things such as turning off your mobile device, closing unnecessary tabs on your computer or your screen that you do have in front of you, or shifting to a more quiet environment that is distraction-free as well, that can help you stay focused. So they are my 3 tips on improving productivity for you today.
Okay, I should have said that was a flashback from last week's P2P Australia. And of course, I was clearly better dressed with a tie on last week. And that's because I'm in New Zealand. It's a little bit more relaxed here. So last thing we need to do this week, live from Wellington, is the Twitter poll from last week. And here are the results. We asked, have you considered taking on a second temporary job, side hustle, for example, due to the cost of living? And what did Brits say? Brits said that 60% said, yep, I've considered it. But 41% said, no, they haven't. So I was actually surprised by that number. I knew that I was expecting the other way around, 40-60, but to get the 60-40 that people are actually considering, it is biting. I mean, we all know the cost of living is biting, and it comes through in the statistics from last week's P2P Live survey. If you're looking for the results of our other surveys, hashtag P2P Live UK. Okay, here's this week's question, and you can vote yourself on this on LinkedIn or on our Twitter at People to People. So with the changes in the market, are you considering taking on a temp job this week? So are you considering taking on a temp job? Yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Vote on that. That's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us for once again on a Thursday night here on P2P Live UK. We'll do it all again next week. We'll see you then. Same question, Remy?